Hello and welcome to our virtual open house for registration for the 21-22 school year for our junior class, for our rising juniors, the class of 2023. I'm Rob Virgin. I'm principal here at Eden Prairie High School, and this is one of my favorite topics to talk with students and families about. I think the air is just filled with optimism at these times. We're starting to look ahead to next year, and while we do that, we also look beyond and try to set you up with a course experience that will set you up for a great junior year, as well as make you ready for really our ultimate goal as a school, is that you're ready to do whatever it is you want to do when you leave here. Junior year is kind of a breaking point or a turning point rather in your high school experience. Of you are become an upperclassman, and you'll notice in tonight's presentation and throughout registration season that there are a lot more opportunities available to our juniors. And this is when you really start to hone in on what might your life after high school start to look like. And we want to help you with that. So today's presentation, I'll kick us off with some big picture things that I want you to have in mind. I have two of our awesome counselors with me that are going to share about specific requirements for juniors, other things to think about for opportunities that we have throughout our school here, and then set up the timeline for you. So what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks as you make these choices, and as what can we do to support you in those? At the end of the day, we just want our students to make really thoughtful decisions about what classes they're going to take. All of our work at the high school is rooted in students in our pursuit of students being able to answer yes to three questions. That first question is, do I belong here? I do believe this is the most important question that we have. We want students to feel a sense of deep belonging and connection so that they're able to accomplish great things. The second is this meaningful? This question, as well as, really all three of these questions are interconnected and apply, but this question really gets to course selection. We want students to be engaged in learning that they find personal meaning in, that honors their personal story, that they see value in right now, as well as application and connection to their future selves. And the last is, can I do this? So that's a message I'll talk a lot about throughout registration season, and that's just my deep belief that with the right systems, with the right supports, with the right structures, our kids can really accomplish anything that they want to. And I believe that our students can pursue great challenge, and that we are here to support them. So, a couple of big picture ideas to keep in mind. This idea of maximize. If I had to summarize what I want for our students as they approach course selection, but really as they approach their 4 years in one word, I think it would be maximize. That I want students to take advantage of all that they have that is offered here. This is a comprehensive high school that offers so much. There are so much that can happen, not just in our courses, but as well as in our extracurriculars and our co-curriculars, and so much more that comes with high school life. And I want students just to make the most of that experience. I don't want them to sleep on this moment. I don't want them to miss the opportunity to take advantage of what is available for them. And, I believe that we really have unmatched opportunities here. We have amazing teachers that have expertise that is so diverse, and backgrounds that really make learning come to life for students here, as well as in our arts and athletics and activities, connecting to our academics. We really have a huge offering for kids. The offering is one part. We also need to be able to have kids be able to access those offerings so that they have choice. And so we've had the benefit and continue to have the benefit of a block schedule. As juniors, you're familiar with this. You take 4 classes at a time. They're about 90 minutes. And with that, you get to take a lot more classes. You have 16 credits available to you each school year. That ultimately leads to more opportunities. Now, of course, there is some barriers to that. There is some restrictions. We don't have infinite amounts of time. But with our course catalog, which is really extensive, plus the block schedule, in addition to some of the really strategic work that we've looked at with prerequisites, for example, other connection points to allow students that we're trying to get out of the way so that students can just really maximize their choice. We believe when it comes to course selection and really anything we do, anytime we can leave the choice and engage up to students and engage our students and families as partners in that choice, we're in a good spot. Ultimately, it's your education, and we want you to have choice into what that looks like for you, so that it's meaningful for you, and that you have that belief that you can do it. I'm going to touch on these just really fast, kind of for two reasons. One, these are new offerings to you, so they weren't in our course catalog last year, so I want to just lift them up. Many of these are available to juniors. I want you to be aware of them because you wouldn't have noticed them in the catalog last year. That's the column on the left. The column on the right, those are ones that have been added in the last couple of school years. And so you might be less familiar with those, and those are growing. And so you might start to hear more about those from some of your older friends and siblings. That's one reason I lift this up. The other is just to illustrate that this is the trajectory and trend we're on. We will continue to evaluate our academic program, engage people in that, and refresh it. I intend, that we'll have a handful or two handfuls of new courses each year. So this is what's new for your junior year. We'll have a few new offerings when we get back together on this topic in about a year to look at your senior year. But I'd really encourage you to look deep into these. Two of these offerings actually came through student proposals, which is really awesome. Students proposed the idea. They worked with the departments, and now they're available for you to take. So check those out. Those wouldn't be something that you're familiar with from last year. Another list that I'm not going to go extensively through, but it is a robust list of different college level classes. Now, we have a lot of opportunities for students to take college level work. Much of that comes through our AP program, which is a national program. We also have classes that are concurrent enrollment, which leads to a student getting credits on their transcript from that institution that they can use if they were to go there or to transfer to somewhere else. We also have PSEO opportunities, as well as HCC pathway opportunities, as well as articulated credits. So there's a lot of different ways kids can take a college level course. We'll touch on those a little bit more in this presentation, as well as later throughout registration season. But here's the ultimate vision: is I believe that each student should take a college level course before they graduate Eden Prairie High School. I believe that because of a few reasons. One, I believe that all students can learn at high levels. I believe that when we are there to support them, our kids are successful, and our kids are showing that. We've had amazing growth this year alone in our AP courses, and our first-time students did a great job first semester. They really hit it out of the park, and it's showing us that belief is true, that our kids can accomplish great things, and that our teachers and counselors and support teams are here and can help kids be successful. I also know that research demonstrates that when students have access to rigorous courses in high school, they're more likely to be successful when they leave high school. So I want each student to have that ability, or each student to have that access and that experience. I also know that our students will do a whole lot of different things when they leave here. Some will go to military, some to 4-year, some right into career, some to 2-year into career, then into 4-year. All sorts of different varieties and combinations of options await our students when they leave. And I think that they'll have a better readiness to make that decision if they have had a successful college level experience here in high school. So that's the vision. We've done a lot to try to fulfill that vision, including adding new courses, including eliminating barriers to get into some of those courses, having supports for students while they're in those courses. This is a journey that we're making good progress on, and that I really want you to think long and hard about in your last 2 years of how do you make sure that you're back mapping this into your schedule, because I believe that each of you should be doing so. The last slide I have for right now, and then I'll come back at the very end just for some kind of closing thoughts before I turn it over to Ms. Amsler, one of our counselors, is passion. And two questions with that. It's what are you interested in, and what might you want to do after high school? Now, there's a lot of people, I imagine, giving you advice sometimes. You'll hear things from me. You might hear things from friends. You might hear things from teachers, from counselors, from parents, guardians. There might be just a lot of noise from other sources in your life, from media or other things you're taking in. Ultimately, when you make course selections, I think this is what you need to be thinking about. I think you need to be looking at having a conversation with yourself and thinking carefully about, what is it that I'm interested in, and what is it that I want to do after high school? A lot of you probably don't know the answer to that second one, and that is more than okay. And now is the time to start to explore that. You might have an idea of what you're more interested in than what you're less interested in. I think now is just a great time to pursue those passions, figure out, what if that is indeed something you want to do, or if it's not, and then get on to the next thing. And we spend time, probably more than most places, talking about course selection with our students, because I just don't want you to miss this moment. And we want you to really look at all the opportunities that await you, and just to have a great time within those. So as you do that, really, students, think about what your passion is, and then how you can create a schedule to pursue that. So thanks for being with us for this virtual open house. I'm going to turn things over to our counselors, and they'll walk you through what the next couple of weeks will look like as you register for your junior session. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Virgin. I appreciate you introducing me. Good evening, parents and students and families. This is a very exciting time, like Mr. Virgin says. This is one of my favorite times of the year, actually. This is the time, as this slide right here, the graduation requirements, you will see this slide many, many, many times in the future. I know you've seen it for the past 2 years, and you'll continue to see this slide. The graduation requirements, these symbolize the culminating event that you have worked so hard, that you will continue to work so hard to achieve at the end of your 12th grade. It is a symbol, it is a milestone, and as you go on beyond high school, you will have more symbols like this. And so I'm just going to go through the various requirements that are needed for Eden Prairie High School graduation. 54 credits are required. 35 are the core curriculum classes, and then you need 19 elective credits from any particular area that we offer. So I'm just going to go through the list right here. English credits, you need 8 English credits, 8 social studies credits, 6 math credits, 6 science credits, 2 physical education credits, 1 health education credit, 1 technology credit, 1 business or work experience credit, and 2 creative arts credits. As long as you have achieved all of these requirements, you will be on your way to achieving the big goal of graduating at the end of the 4 years. I'm just going to go into what specific items you need. And here's what I want you to know. Are you on track to graduate? Right now, you are the midway point of your sophomore year. And you're thinking, okay, what do I need? How many credits do I need to have at this point in my high school career to be able to get to 54? So at the end of 10th grade, you would need to have earned 27 credits. And each credit would be what you would achieve from having passed all of your classes. If you have an incomplete, which is an INC on your transcript right now, or you have an NC or an F, you should definitely talk with your teacher and your counselor to make a plan to be able to recover those credits. There's various ways in order to do that. So the key thing to remember, students and families, is that at the end of 10th grade, you need to have 27 credits to be on track to graduate in the next 2 years. Required courses, I'm going to go into this in detail just for you to know. The English requirements that are needed. Right now, as a sophomore, for the registration season, you need to register for one of the following options. You could sign up for English 11, A and B, which is going to be in 2 terms, Honors English 11, and AP English 11. Just a note that there is summer reading required to take Honors English 11 and AP English 11. So make sure if you are choosing the Honors 11 and the AP English 11, you know that there are summer requirements that you need to fulfill in order to be able to be successful in those courses. The social studies requirements, you need to choose one of the following. World History 1 or Ancient History. You can choose to do the World History 1 online. You could also choose to do the World History 1 online skinny options for the students who are doing music. And you can choose to do this brand new class we offered this year, which is called AP World History Modern, which is in 2 terms. A note to you that the AP Modern World History fulfills the graduation requirements for the World History curriculum for juniors. Also, note that you also have to choose one of the following, which would be the World History 2, which is the modern history, and that's one term. Or you could choose to do the AP Comparative Politics. You may have heard some people refer to it as APCP. Or you could do the combined AP US Government and the combined AP Comparative Politics. Note that for the graduation requirements, the APPS class, which is the combined AP US Gov and the combined AP Comparative Politics, fulfills the second half of the world history requirement for juniors, as well as part of the requirement for the social studies for seniors as well. Moving on to science, you do need to have 2 science credits for the graduation requirements, and you can choose between chemistry or physics. For chemistry, your options would be to choose either basic chemistry, which is 2 terms, chemistry, regular chemistry, chemistry blended, or honors chemistry. If you want to choose to do physics instead, you could choose between regular physics or honors physics. All of the science courses are for two terms, 2 credits. For the math requirements that are needed, you need to have geometry, algebra 2, and statistics, and they are listed below. For the geometry options, you would need to have geometry A and B or honors geometry A and B. The algebra options are listed, which are algebra 2 or honors algebra 2. And statistics is required for graduation, and based on the prerequisites, you would need to choose either FSD, which is functions, statistics, and trigonometry, or you could choose to do statistics and data science, or you could choose to do AP statistics. All of these options are 2 terms. And now I'm going to pass it on to Ms. Silverberg, who will talk to you about more options to choose, because in addition to doing the required courses, there are many, many options to choose the electives from. So I'm going to pass it on to Ms. Silverberg.
Thanks, Ms. Amsler. The first thing I want to talk about is the many choices that students have here at Eden Prairie High School. I think one of the most wonderful things about being one of the largest high schools in Minnesota is that students have literally hundreds of choices of classes to take here at Eden Prairie High School. So whenever I get an opportunity to talk about the numerous classes, I like to just encourage students and parents to really take the time looking closely at the registration guide and reading the descriptions of courses and talking to teachers and counselors and getting as much information as I can so they'll have a really good schedule that fits their needs and wants and interests next year. Students will have this sheet in front of them when they're registered. This is a helpful tool that will help them when they're registering. They can use this and look at their transcript and make sure that they have all of their required classes. Also on the back of this sheet, they will have the empty schedules, the empty 4-year grid sheets that many of you have seen before. Students and parents find it very helpful to sketch in their schedule, what it possibly will look like, what the classes they're hoping to take. They'll be able to look at that and see if the schedule looks like it is rigorous but also balanced. So this is a slide just to remind you of a college planning night. There's going to be a college planning question and Zoom information evening with Ms. McNamara on Thursday, February 10th. This is a great evening that we do every year. The first part of the evening will be just an introduction to things to think about when applying to and looking at colleges, but then there will be breakout sessions with more details that will meet your interests, such as if your student is possibly going to be an athlete in college, or how to do meaningful college visits, or information about honors programs, or whatever specifically meets your needs and wants and questions for your student. So that college planning night is February 25th at 6 o'clock. So this slide is just a reminder of some things to think about. We prepare students really, really well for college. We know that because when we talk to college reps who come in here throughout the year, they tell us that our students who go to their college are really, really prepared and do well in college. So just by graduating from Eden Prairie High School, students will be well prepared to do well in college. The minimum college requirement for a 4-year college is very similar to our graduation requirements. So students really, by taking care of their requirements here, are going to be prepared with most of the minimum requirements. Colleges want 4 years of English, just like we do. They want 3 to 4 years of math, just like us, 3 to 4 years of science, 3 to 4 years of social studies. And then one thing that some people get confused about is a world language requirement. Some people get confused and think that students need to have 2 years of a world language to graduate from Eden Prairie High School. They do not need to have that to graduate. However, many four-year colleges require at least 2 years of two of the same years of a foreign language to be admitted. And if not to be admitted, many of them will want 2 years of a world language to graduate. Then the other requirement that is similar but not exactly the same as ours is the fine arts requirement. Many four-year colleges would like students to have 1 year or 2 credits of a fine arts class. Our requirements are 2 credits or 1 year of a creative arts class, which could be fine arts, or creative arts is something like woodcrafting or sewing or that kind of a class. Okay, so then I just want to talk a little bit about some options that students have to take classes outside of our building. So some of you may have heard of the post-secondary enrollment option, or PSEO. PSEO is a really neat program where students can take college classes at just about any Minnesota college. Typically, our students, if they take advantage of the post-secondary enrollment option, they will go to Normandale or the University of Minnesota. So this is where students can take classes in college, and they can get college credit and high school credit. We kind of call it double dipping. So the classes that they take will go on their college transcript as well as their high school transcript. And it's free. So that's a very good, nice perk if students want to save a lot of money. It's also good for students who want to dip their toes into the college experience and see what that's going to be like, or just for students who are ready to have a different experience. So a lot of students are interested in this, or at least are interested in getting more information. So one thing that we really request of students is that we want to talk to them about this. We know it's a big decision and they need information about it. We only have about 2 weeks during the registration season to answer questions about EPHS classes. And so the deadline for PSEO applications is not until much later. I think April 1st is probably the first deadline that I can think of. So we ask students, all students who might be interested in PSEO, to please register like they're not going to do PSEO, like they're going to have all of their classes here. So, and then see us after registration ends, and then we can spend more time with them and answer their questions. Also, there are some registration meetings, and some PSEO meetings coming up where they can get their specific questions answered about PSEO. So we really recommend that they attend those sessions, register like they're not going to do that, register for all their classes here, and then after registration closes, they can see us and we'll give them more information and we can adjust their schedule. Then also on this slide, we just wanted to mention another option for students who are ready to attend a college and to try some kind of experience outside of the building, and that is our classes that we have at the Hennepin Technical College, which is in Eden Prairie. For that, students should see us during the registration season, and we can answer questions and give them an application for that. But you or they can see on our website or in the registration guide, there's all kinds of really neat hands-on classes at Hennepin Tech where students can have the college experience and do some really fun hands-on kind of learning. So you or students can see us for more information about Hennepin Tech during the registration window. We have a ton of information. We don't expect you to attend all these meetings or look through all of the materials, but we are going to have a registration hub that will be very visible, or should be very visible right now actually as we're doing this presentation, with all of the links and information and documents that will help for registration. A lot of the meetings and Zoom meetings don't apply to everyone, but you'll be able to look through and see which meetings or Zoom meetings or information sessions fit for you and your student. So just really quickly, I'm going to go through this timeline and you can see that there are options that will fit and not fit for you. So like I said, there will be a registration hub right on the website, easy to find. And then on Wednesday, January 27th, during third period, there will be a registration open house. And a registration rush during third period. That's where students will have an opportunity to visit the different departments in Zoom meetings. So they will be able to do different visits and talk to different teachers from specific departments to get their questions answered. Then on January 29th, February 5th, and 12th, counselors and our Gifted and Talented coordinator will be available to answer questions. On Mondays, February 1st and 8th, we'll have a registration hotline available. So you will have a phone number that you'll find on that hub, and will be available so you can just pick up the phone and ask a quick question. The next thing that is going to be available for students who have questions about music and music planning, you'll see, or maybe you already know, that it can be kind of tricky to get music in. You certainly can get music into the schedule, like band or choir or orchestra, but sometimes it takes a little maneuvering. So there will be a specific Zoom session to answer questions about that, and on January 28th. And there will be another session for parents and students who have questions about honors and AP classes. On Wednesday, February 3rd, there will be the 11th grade question and answer Zoom session. So kind of like this, but it'll be more informal and questions and answers. Then on February 4th, for those who are interested, we will have 3 different meetings with our liaisons. So there will be a registration question and answer meeting or Zoom meeting for Somali families, for African American families, and our Latino families. On February 9th, we'll do the same thing for students and parents who have questions about world language, and maybe students who are coming from the Spanish immersion school who have specific questions. On February 10th, there will be a college planning question and answer Zoom session. And then on February 12th, registration closes. So I always like to say when we're talking about the registration timeline that it's very important that we have students register by the deadline. Having said that, it's not important for students to register right away, so don't need to feel nervous or stressed to get the registration documented right away when it opens. It's not like it's a first come, first serve kind of a deal. So, if students go in and register within the timeline and time goes on and they change their mind, they can go back in before February 12th and make changes without a problem. We're getting to the end here. So this slide is pretty slick for those of you or students who have registered in the past. They'll probably know how to do this, but they just need to go log into campus by using their username and password, and then click more on the left-hand side, and they'll see the registration courses. They can put the courses in by the course name, or they can search by number or department. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then before I hand it over to Mr. Virgin, I just wanted to put this slide up. A lot of you have been having conversations with us, your counselors, either through email or phone calls or whatever, but this is just a slide so you can see who your counselor is, or your student's counselor is, according to your last name. So you can put a face with a name that you might already know. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Virgin, who's going to just make some closing statements, and we are looking forward to helping you out.
Right. Thanks, Ms. Silverberg and Ms. Amsler. A couple of thoughts to leave you with here is you see all 8 of our counselors here in their alpha range below that. So reach out to them. They're able to connect with you. They have those high points in time here over the next couple of weeks that we touched on in our timeline. We're also available for virtual appointments, and we have question and answer features on our website as well. So connect with them. We want to help you make thoughtful decisions. In addition, Lizzie McNamara, our college and career student specialist, is available, as well as Steve Rollin, our gifted and talented coordinator, if you have questions specific to those 2 areas. So the last thing I'd leave you with today is as you go ahead to make these decisions for the classes that you're going to take next year, with the overall goal of just being thoughtful. I want you to maximize, take advantage of the choices, consider your own passions. The 2 big things we're talking about is challenge yourself and pursue your passions. But as you think about all of that, I don't believe, and what I'm not telling you is that whatever you do is going to be easy the next 2 years. What I'm telling you is that it's going to be worth it. What I'm telling you is that I believe that you should pursue your passions and that you should challenge yourself. I think you should do this. I think you can do this, and I think we're going to help you do this. So make some thoughtful choices over the next couple of weeks, and if anything else, reach out. any questions at all, we want to partner with you through this process to set you up for long-range success. So thanks for being with us tonight. Thanks for being such a great member of our Eden Prairie High School community. We look forward to seeing you in the days ahead. Thanks, everybody.